Hello, it's Tap Mama with, it's Amanda with Tap Mama in the Big Brigade. Sorry, it's late at night now, but we have gotten our hat as long as we want it. This is about beanie size. So as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, I'll pull it up. You can see that the fur has come through the stitches just very nicely. Not too much, not too little, but it's got a nice little fur look to it. And we've got our brim here. And what we're going to do now, what I've done, because that fur yarn is very brittle, is I've tied it off here at this little spot right here, because we're getting ready to bind off of the loom. Bind off, meaning we're going to take the hat off the loom. And there are lots of ways to do this, but I like to do the drawstring way, which I'm going to explain to you how we do that. So the easiest way to do it, and the way that I've discovered it works easiest for me, and believe me, I try to make things as uncomplicated as possible, is I take my yarn, my working yarn, which is the yarn coming from my 2 skeins, and I take it and I wrap it around the outside of my loom right here, and I just do this, and I'm right here back at my anchor peg, okay? And I'm going to do it one last little half turn. And now I got it 1.5 turns around my loom. Now that's probably too long, but just in case, it's better to have it too long than too short. So I'm going to reach over here and get my handy scissors, and I'm going to cut the working yarn. Boom. Okay? And now I'm going to get my pick. Now some people do it differently. I do it this way, because this way has worked for me many times. I've made probably at least 100 hats by now, if not more. I've made a lot of hats, probably a couple hundred hats by now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to pull my loops that I have on the peg, and I'm going to take this yarn, and when we did the purl, it's similar to what we did with the purl, but we're going to take the yarn all the way through the loop. And that's what we're going to do through the whole loom. Okay, so we're going to take the loop, the yarn, the working yarn, and we're going to do just like this, and we're going to do that on every peg. We're going to pull the loop up, scoop the working yarn underneath it, and pull it through. So what we're doing is we're creating a drawstring so that we can close the top of the hat up. And we're just going to go like this all along all 41 pegs. This is the part Theodore hates, because the string usually gets thrown at him as I'm doing it, because it's so long. He will usually get off the couch. He's sitting over there. My pit bull. And so we're just going to keep scooping and doing this. And because the fuzzy yarn was real brittle, it would have just broke. At some point during this process, it would have just broke. And because I'm going a little easier than I normally would during this process, because the yarn on the pegs themselves still has that fuzzy yarn in it. So there's two strands of the mosaic yarn and 1 strand of the fuzzy yarn. So now, as far as wash instructions, you're probably good to wash this hat in a cold water in a washer with other clothes. Just don't put it in the dryer. I don't put my hats in the dryer when I wash them, and I don't recommend anyone else put them in the dryer. It's okay to wash them in cold and then lay them out somewhere and let them dry, air dry. That way, if you're using a cheap acrylic, which, I say cheap, I mean value. Value acrylic. Because let's face it, when you're doing for charity, you might use a value acrylic rather than this more pricier Premier yarn acrylic. Because this will probably be my hat, unless somebody else that I love wants to claim it. If somebody, maybe one of my subscribers that I deem special, you know, or if I put it in a giveaway. I don't know yet. This was an ask for video, set of videos. I really didn't know that when I woke up today that I would be doing any kind of loom tutorial, but here I am. I probably should lower this where you can see what I'm doing. There we go. You can see what I'm doing better. I apologize. But we're just working our way around the loom, and then I'll show you what happens when we do that. And as you can see, we have quite a bit of this left. I knew we wouldn't use much of it. But I think that mohair like yarn, the fuzzy yarn, I think it will be best doing crochet with that. So I'll probably be mixing it with something else and just doing a crochet, something crochet with it. I'll probably try to do a shawl or something with it and mix it with do it for someone that lives up north that needs something warm. And see, I don't think I made it too long, because here we are getting close to the anchor peg. Yep, there's my anchor peg. So my yarn was cut just long enough. Now when I go to cinching it up, it'll be too long. But for what I'm doing here, it's perfect. Alright. Now to the stopping point, what I'm going to do is go ahead and put it back through where I started, so that it gives me that good cinch up, you know. It'll cinch up real good and close that hole up real good for me. So now I'm going to just take, and I'm going to drop my string right down in the middle, and I'm just going to take my hook and just gently pull all my loops off my loom here. You just gently pull them off. As you can see, I'm just pulling them off the loom. Pardon me. A little ice water. This is thirsty work. And I hope y'all are benefiting from this tutorial. This being my first 3-part tutorial. I don't know, I probably shouldn't have did a pink hat on a pink loom. That might make, I thought about it about halfway through, then it might not be able to see much. But this is my new phone, and it records pretty clear, so I'm hoping y'all are getting good detail out of this. Maybe I'm being descriptive enough that y'all can figure it out for yourselves. If you're a loom knitter, or if you're even interested in loom knitting. See, voila, there's our loom, free of the yarn. So I'm going to put my pick aside, and I'm going to turn my hat inside out. And if y'all have ever made a hat that had to be drawstring, then you know this is what we do. So it doesn't look very big, but with anything made with knit stitches, it's very stretchy. So it doesn't look like a very big hat, but trust me, it will fit me. it will fit an adult. So as you can tell, that is closing up very nicely. And I'm just pulling, because I'm just using this yarn. I'm not using the brittle yarn. I'd already detached that. But as you can tell, you can see that fuzziness on the back side of it, because it goes all the way through. It's real pretty. And so obviously this is not going to close all the way up. So what we now do is we reach over to our handy dandy yarn needle, and we kind of untwist this a little bit, and we're going to use our scissors, and because we're not going to need all of this, we only need just a little bit of this. We can cut a bit off because we don't need all of that. So we're going to take this, and we're going to go in here, hopefully, and we're going to thread this needle. And right here, you'll see this little thick part right here. And what we want to do is right there in that opening right there, where you put the stitches, you just want to go right in there and take your needle, and you're just going to pull it a little bit tighter. So you want to put it right through there, and then you're going to get through another little section. Just find you a little parting of the yarn there, and put the needle through the next little section. And you're just kind of seesaw it in there, because sometimes it's, especially when you're using 2 strands, or even 3 in this case. You get through another little section. Oops, and I'm about to lose my yarn. Okay. Alright. And now you want to get through the rest of this here, because this will help close it permanently, to go all the way through up under here. Alright, now you're out the other side, and now you can pull, and now you see that it closes real well. And so what I like to do, just to make sure I get real good and tight and secure, is I take my needle and I take it and put it a little bit under here, and then I take it and put it a little bit over there, under there, and then I take the loop and put it under my needle, and I pull it up like this and make me a good little knot right there, and then I do it again and put my loop right there and make me another little knot. And you know what, that's not going anywhere. Just for my own peace of mind, I'm going to put just a dollop of this here, because this will withstand even washing and drying. And it's just a tiny, and I just rub it in, so that even when you wash this, even if you use a little bit of fabric softener, this won't hurt nothing. Just gives you a little bit of peace of mind. And now you can cut the yarn off right there at that little nub. Okay, and that part's done. Now you got this little part here that you kind of want to, what do I do with that needle? There it is. Okay. Take the needle off that yarn. You don't need that anymore, but you still have your starting yarn that you had when you started. So you want to weave in this little end here, and thread that there. And so for some reason this is at the front of my hat, so just put it at the back of your hat put it through here. And you see these little bumpies in your brim here? Just use those to your advantage. And of course, just like in crochet, you just feed it through them, through whatever thick part you could feed it through, and hide your tail. So I'm just going to thread it through there and pull it through here and let it go right there. Now I am going to probably hit this with a little bit of fabric glue, because if someone stretches that out, it could come out. So I'm going to put a little bit right there. And yes, I'm country, so I'm going to say there, and I'm tired. So my country comes out a little bit more when I'm tired. I'm going to put a little bit right there where that comes out. And that won't go anywhere now. And now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to snip that flush. There we go. And when that dries, you won't even know that I did that. Now I'll put this back where it goes in my little thing there. And now we'll flip our hat back. I don't do pom-poms. I don't like them. So there's your hat. Nice, beautiful. And now you can see the fuzz. It comes through very subtly. It's very subtle. I might have put if I had put a contrasting color in there besides pink on pink, it might be more. But you could feel it when you run your hand across it. You could feel it. And see, I'll pull this back up a little bit so you can see. It does fit my big head. See there? Perfect fit. So that's how you do a beanie. Now my hair's out of whack. But that's how you do the beanie on the loom, using 2 strands of acrylic yarn. Really nice acrylic yarn from Premier. Thank you, Premier. And this Mayflower Sweet from Hobie. And I hope that this is what my subscriber that asked for it was looking for when they asked for me to do a loom knitted hat. And I think it's lovely. I think it's a beautiful hat. And I like it a lot. I think it's very pretty. And the Premier hat is very nice. I think the yarn worked up real well. No splitting. No snagging. That's very smooth yarn. I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship between Premier Yarn and me. I want more of it. I definitely want more of it. But if you like this 3-part tutorial, let me know. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like my videos. Subscribe so that you don't miss any of my content. This has been a 3-part tutorial with Amanda with Tap Mama and the Big Brigade. God bless you. Have a good night. Bye now.